A very good evening, everyone. I am Neha, Ambassador of Change for GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, founded and conceptualized by Dr. Sunita Gandhi with the vision of disrupting the education movement as we know it. Essentially, we organize pre service and in service training for teachers so that they can spearhead this disruptive education movement. And alongside, under the same umbrella, we also organize deep talks where we invite policymakers, educators, researchers, and various people from the education fraternity to discuss various best practices in education with us. And today, I am very honored and thrilled to have with us Miss Maria Alicia, who, by the way, holds more than 40 years of experience being in the education sector, hands-on. And the most beautiful part today is that she's also a teacher trainer, has been a teacher trainer for quite some time at the teacher education program based in Argentina. It's a very beautiful moment today for us since our guest aligns with the values of this institution, and she will be talking about a topic that's very close to our hearts, that is how teachers can be the change of tomorrow, something that we strive to do every day. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's morning at her end. She's based in Argentina. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having invited me to be part of this um, organization. I'm really proud and honored to be addressing people in India and everywhere you reach. Um, as you said, I've been a teacher trainer, and basically I'm a passionate teacher who really believes that we can make the change the world needs, and
Absolutely.
that is the topic for me today. Teachers,
I,
the
I
leaders who can make the change the world needs. So if we can share the screen.
absolutely. I've shared your presentation. The presentation is visible. You can now take us through it.
Okay, good. So in order to start speaking about this, we need to identify the context in which we live. And the first thing we face are the challenges that this 21st century is posing on us, teachers, and on everybody. There is an exponential growth of information and communication technology, which is good on a special side because it gives us opportunities and tools for getting more information. On the other hand, we have to update our knowledge so as to use it correctly, because globalization has made the world a whole community. We are living all together in spite of being at distant places, and this presentation is a proof of that. The internet is helping us in order to do so. But this hyper-connected world leads to more rapid exchange of ideas, and that is a great challenge for teachers because 30 years ago, we could say that teachers were the ones who had the information to be passed on to our students. But nowadays, it is very difficult to have all the information. Many times it is our students who have some information we don't have, and the other way around. So we have to be open to accept that we learn sometimes from our learners. Uh, at the same time, there is a greater openness to the contribution of different cultures, and that demands uh, empathy and great respect towards different views, different ways of perceiving the world, because we can connect with people who, having experienced different lives, see life in a different way. And the decline of conservative institutions such as governmental, educational, religious institutions, which are challenged all the time because of all these um, contributions from different cultures, presents a big challenge as regards authority. Uh, we are not in authority because of the position we are in, but rather we have to construct authority together with our students. This demands expertise on the part of the teacher, knowledge of methodology so as to reach the students, and a great predisposition to establish rapport with learners. If learners perceive us in authority, we have no problems. We are in authority. If not, we have to face some difficulties. And that is something teachers, at least in Argentina, sometimes complain about. And the uncertain future we face is also a challenge because um, we don't know what the world will be like in 2 years or 3 years' time. What we learn today might be outdated in a short time. So we have to think about what it is really necessary to be taught and uh, how we should teach that. Another thing that we have to discuss, according to the presentation's title, is what the world needs. And the world needs people who care. The world needs people who are ready to establish um, positive communication and who take care of the wellness of everybody, considering um, the world as a healthy place to live, peaceful place to live, and we have to work together in order to achieve that. But are we willing to change our expectations for how and what students learn? I said it is necessary. Are we thinking of doing so? Let's see what is to teach for us. Some of us will see teaching as having a teacher at the front, the one who has the information to be transmitted to students who are going to store it in their minds and retrieve it when necessary, mainly assessed in a summative way. Some others think that teaching is entertaining, that we need to keep our students involved, doing what they like doing, and so we turn in a sort of clowns or entertainers all the time. Still others think that teaching is to present problems to students for them the to solve it using their own resources with the aid of the teacher, thinking that discovery learning is a good way of approaching knowledge. Some others consider that looking after emotions is essential, and so mindfulness should be the focus of every classroom. And still others consider that teachers are one more member in the group, and exchanging ideas is the best way of helping students to develop knowledge. I would say that none of these perceptions is the correct one, and none of them is wrong. The point is that each individual perception is not enough. We need to make a whole with all of them because our best preparation for an evolving society is helping children face the future with confidence in their own abilities and with a faith that they are worthwhile and important members of whatever culture they might find themselves in. So they need to feel confident to take risks. So they need to try to solve problems under the guidance of the teacher and without the guidance of the teacher. They need to find learning as something useful, meaningful, and comfortable. And they must be flexible enough to challenge some assumptions that they will have to fight in the future. The teacher's power is not in transmitting information for students to store it, but in helping children or students in general, no matter the age, um, to incorporate information which they will um, combine and associate with their previous knowledge and with knowledge that is going to come next in order for them to be able to face all the problems society will put on them. And that is where teachers become leaders. I compare teaching with leadership because not long ago, both leaders and teachers perceived themselves as in charge of managing and controlling everything that was happening. But this perception is giving way to another perception. Leaders and teachers have to be inspiring and motivating. Because whoever comes under our guidance or whoever works together with us um, needs to feel that it is the effort he or she has to make is worth doing. And that is why we need to be inspiring and motivating. The teacher's role should be to show students the way without taking them by the hand to move together. Uh, we give the means and we turn into mentors who are going to encourage students to move forward and who will be proud if our students' achievements overpass our own achievements. That is a real mentor because we know, as I said, that teachers and students learn together. We interact and we exchange information that we can both contribute to the process. If we do so, students will be good observers of reality. They will be able to identify and distinguish differences. They will be the ones who ask questions, not only the ones who answer questions, and they can even challenge the questions, the answers that the teachers give. If they do so, they will become really strong and they will be able to face all the challenges life can present them with. The, in my opinion, wrongly named soft skills or 21st century skills should be a key point in our teaching because we need students to develop good ways of thinking so as to be creative in order to solve problems after having analyzed them from critical perspective. If they do so, they will be learning to learn, and this will turn them into lifelong learners. As regards tools for working, we need digital literacy and ICT literacy skills to be developed. We are teaching digital citizens, it is true. They know um, how to play games, how to access some information, but they need to know how to access reliable information and how to distinguish reliable from unreliable information. At the same time, they need to learn how to use social networks. They do manage them, but are they all aware of the dangers of uploading information to the net? They should be aware of the fact that once we upload information, that information is not ours anymore. It belongs to the cyberspace. So we all have to be careful about what sort of information we share. Ways of working imply communication. We need to put emphasis on this. Communicating is not just expressing our point of view. Communicating is active listening as well, asking for clarification, rephrasing so as to check whether we have understood the message correctly so as to avoid misunderstanding. At the same time, when we encode our message, we need to bear in mind who our recipient will be. We need to adapt our style and register and jargon to the persons we want to reach. As regards collaboration, working collaboratively is one of the demands of this century, and we need to learn how to uh, play different roles within a team of workers. And that is why it is advisable that students play different roles while they work in groups so that they have the feeling of being the leaders as well as being the ones led. And they have to highlight what they can do best. For example, one will be in charge of images if he or she knows how to take photos or how to draw. Some others will be in charge of writing the texts, and some others will be in charge of speaking. Not everybody can do exactly the same, and it is better to use the potential of each individual in the teams. That can be learned and developed in the classroom, which in fact is a rehearsal room for real life. It is safe because we are working among equals under the protection of a person who cares for us, which is the teacher, that is the leader. As regards to skills living in the world, students will understand working collaboratively that they need to develop personal and social responsibility. What each individual does affects not only himself, but also the community where he is working. In this case, if they work in groups, if one student doesn't prepare his share, the others will suffer. The final result, the final product will not be the same, or some others will have to work more. And that is important for life and career because in the enterprises or wherever we work, we need to know how to undertake our responsibility so as to um, work in a more comfortable atmosphere and in order to grow together. As regards citizenship skills, um, we need to learn that we need to abide by the local rules in order to live in our society. And we have to learn to abide by global rules because that will help students to develop empathy and respect towards other cultures who have different choices. And here it is very important that our self perception is good so that we can interact really using all our potential and being able to respect others, and being respecting ourselves. The teaching can never guarantee learning. All it can do is to construct opportunities for learning and to help learners take advantage of them. And that is why I want to share some ideas with you. For example, a good leader, a good teacher, should help students to break stereotypes. It is through discussion in the classroom, while teaching vocabulary, for example, that teachers help students to become aware that stereotyping is not good. We can have excellent firefighters who are women and great flight attendants who are men, and men can also make excellent house husbands while the woman is working as an engineer. This has to be discussed. And if we do so, we are going to help students to be more open minded and more flexible in their decisions. It is true, we are going to be challenging some assumptions that we have to change. We need to help our students to be a critical thinker. And in order to do so, we present them with problems that they have to solve using their logical thinking. For example, here, the question is, what are these teenagers doing? Of course, if they can read the context, learners will see that they are chatting online. And what is it that they are talking about? Um, the globe can give some idea. Yes, it's the boy who's traveling to Argentina. And how do we know that the boy is going to travel to Argentina and not the other way around? Because the boy has the flag, the British flag behind him, and the girl has mate, which is a typical drink in Argentina. Sorry for giving an example from Argentina, but this belongs to a book I have published. Um, then we ask students to discuss things that a foreign language learner needs to know when visiting our country. They will have to write their own ideas and then share with their classmates. This makes them reflect upon what they know about their own culture and what they know about the culture of the visitor. And at the same time, sharing information is going to uh, teach them to discuss and prioritize ideas respecting the perspective of others. And in the end, they will have to vote to organize the ideas in a hierarchy of relevance. And that helps them to respect the decision of most of the students in the class, and to accept that not always their ideas will be the ones chosen. We can work a lot and do a lot as teachers using project-based learning, because teachers and students will be partners in learning. In that way, they are going to co-construct authentic learning experiences to achieve a shared goal. This has two positive aspects. On the one hand, a shared goal um, brings cohesion to the group. So teachers and students will be aiming at achieving the same. And authentic learning, it's because the problems presented are real. And so they are meaningful because students can understand them, and significant because they belong into their area of interest. Um, This will empower learners to solve relevant problems, and they will model and practice skills to become successful citizens. As I said just a minute ago, the classroom is a rehearsal room for real life in the future. Students will learn in and out of the classroom because many times they will have to interview people outside the classroom, or they will have to surf the net in search of information. They will have to do research in some uh, libraries, etc. And this connection of students with the community will help them to develop skills, knowledge, and disposition to solve authentic problems. The big word here is yet, because students are likely to fail when they do research or when they try to find information. And the message of the teacher should always be, you can't do this yet. But if you make an effort, if you try harder, you will achieve the aim that you are seeking. And this word should be always present in the teacher's feedback, because the teacher's feedback needs to be encouraging. If we encourage our learners, they will make the effort, they will be willing to try twice or three times until they achieve the aim. The secret is to give them the final product of the project at the beginning of the unit. For example, here we have in groups and with the supervision of your teacher, you will be creating a Facebook page for your class. You will be including information about you and about your teachers too. Remember, I said we have to help students become aware of the care they have to take into choosing the information to be uploaded. Then, when they get to the end of the project, they will have an audience to show the final result. Um, but in order to complete the project, they will have to discuss as regards the name they are going to give to the Facebook page, the information to be included. They will have to listen to other groups' ideas and again make a list and decide together, discussing, listening to each other, developing communication skills, how to agree on certain points. This develops empathy and respect uh, for one another. And then they have to decide on who their audience will be, and that will determine the kind of information they will share and how they have to present it. And what is important for leaders in the future, for success in the future, is to be able to self assess. We have to help the students to self assess, to check themselves the progress they are making, because they will be able to, if they can do this, they will be able to go on learning on their own in the future, in spite of not having schooling time. Another possibility is a Pechachka presentation. A Pechachka presentation is a presentation of 20 slides in 20 minutes. In each slide, students have to present an image or a word that is connected to what they are going to say, but they cannot write everything that is going to be said because they cannot read, and they have to take 20 seconds in order to speak. Here, they are going to present this pechachka in groups, and this helps them to develop individual and social responsibility. Because if one student takes longer, he will spoil the presentation of the next one. And they have to rehearse. That shows them that the effort pays off. Again, they can then check against a list provided. Um, they can also do a survey on how they spend their free time. This helps them to reflect upon their own choices in life, and they can learn that they can do good service to others in their free time, not just lying on a couch watching television. And the point is that they are going to create again a hierarchy of activities, and they will have to present that in charts, bar charts or pie charts of any kind of infographics. So they will have to learn to use different codes, and here they have a more developed self-assessment chart, which is in which they are going to check what they can do and how they can do it. This can be used to by each individual learner, and it can be used for peer assessments as well. They can exchange the feedback with a peer in the classroom, getting ready for the final presentation in front of a group. This is another example. Here, there are several ideas for project outcomes we can make. As you see, in every outcome, we help students to develop the necessary skills for interacting in the world. And we are taking care of emotions. They are having fun because they are doing things that they are interested in doing. They are dealing with topics of their interest, and they are finding their own way to solve a problem. Uh, they are developing the 21st century skills while they learn the content we want to teach them. The content is an excuse for them to develop 21st century skills which are necessary for the world we are living in. Thank you very much for sharing. I hope you can make use of some of these ideas, and I'm open to questions if there are any. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for that very wonderful and interesting presentation and taking us through how teachers can, inculcate various different values in students and make them more better equipped for the future. But before we conclude, would you like to expand on the role of parents in this? How parents can also enter this triangle between teachers and students and the school, and shape their personality. Would you like to expand on the role of parents as well?
Yes, the fact that students have to go on working outside the classroom, and they
Yep.
have to find solutions on their own in a way uh, is a demand for parents to aid them, because they will surely ask parents for help. Um, the perception parents have is to be respected, but at the same time, as I said at the beginning, sometimes we have to break stereotypes, and
Yep.
so sometimes discussions held in the classroom reach houses, and at least some topics are discussed uh, with another perspective as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There are some changes that need to be made in society, and I think that discussing certain topics in class without imposing an answer is what helps families, parents, brothers, sisters um, to discuss the ideas and become more flexible as regards certain assumptions.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful thought. Thank you for taking that question. And also, one thing that comes to my mind is that teachers are also human beings and they also have their own set of biases. Sometimes they are biased towards, towards a certain technique that they're using or towards a certain idea that they possess. So, how should teachers, bypass these biases and come, with a very broad mindset in classrooms and implement techniques that are well researched and well thought through and are actually going to, help students in the longer run? How can, teachers, give up this human biases that they carry? Like in general, as a human, everyone has biases, I believe.
One of the mottos I had when I was teaching teachers to be was that if you want to be a teacher, you should never stop learning.
Absolutely.
Um, we need to, and these opportunities, such as this presentation or even workshops in which people meet in physical places, can help a lot. Another thing that I really consider should be fostered is teacher observation, peer observation, peer teacher observation, not from the headmistress or headmasters, teachers who can observe lessons every now and then and share ideas, because nobody owns the all the answers, and it is
Absolutely.
great to be open and accept some suggestions. That is a practice that is not always well accepted, but I
Yep.
think that it should become one of the practices new teachers should have acquired at the teacher education program. Observe and give feedback among themselves so as to feel confident when this happens in schools.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why we hold detox. That is something that's happening right now. Is so that various educators can come and share their best practices. This is like kind of taking peer support to the next level. So that's basically one of our idea behind holding these talks as well. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today, for enlightening us with your wonderful thoughts drawn from your rich experience, I would say. And I think all the viewers who are watching and everyone who will watch eventually will definitely take something from your presentation, which was, I think, very meaningful and impactful. I would say that. But before we conclude, once again, would you like to have some parting thoughts for our audience? We have educators, teachers, parents, and students watching us. You would like to, say a couple of words to them as well.
Well, first of all, thanks for listening to me. And one thing I would say is that we should not be afraid of changing things and trying new things, because that even enriches us as teachers. And if we are sending a message for our learners, telling them that mistakes are step forwards towards success, we
Absolutely.
should apply the same idea towards ourselves. Sometimes our lessons are not the best ones, but they are the best opportunities for us to learn what to do and what not to do
Absolutely.
again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful summation once again. And thank you so much for joining us from your place this morning. I would say at your end. It's late evening over here, but we're very blessed to have you today. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you around again.
Okay, thank you. I'm open to come back, and thank you very much for having invited me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Always my pleasure. Thank you. Ma'am, they can now leave the studio.